Then her poetry book, A God at the Door, was shortlisted for the 2021 Forward Prize under the Best Poetry Collection category. The Gondwana, or the supercontinent, which was the massive amalgamation or coming together of all of these land masses, were one whole thing. Okay. Later, it actually got separated. It broke. So Antarctica has simple ecosystem and lacks greater deal of biodiversity. Hello and a very warm welcome to your prep school English classes. I'm your English teacher, Kshama. In this session today, we are going to talk about your third lesson from the textbook Vistas, named as Journey to the End of the Earth. Yes, we are about to take a journey to the end of the earth. Let's understand what's there in this session. We are going to talk about the author, the background, summary, and we are going to recap what are the events that are there in this story. Let's waste no time and understand who is the author of this lesson. Okay, this is not a fictional story. This is a real stuff. It's a non-fictional piece of writing, and it has been written by Tishani Doshi. Okay, and she is an Indian poet, journalist, a dancer who is based in Chennai. Our story also starts from Chennai. Kindly note that as well. In 2006, she won the Forward Prize for her debut poetry book, Countries of the Body. Okay, then her poetry book, A God at the Door, was shortlisted for the 2021 Forward Prize under the Best Poetry Collection category. Okay, that's such a wonderful achievement. Let's get to know what she's also a part of this story. It's like her documenting her journey that she took to the end of the earth. What is the end of the earth? Let's understand. Okay, so her journey starts on a Russian vessel. This one that you see over here, this is the particular one named as the Academic Shokalsky. Okay, Academic Shokalsky is the name of the Russian vessel on which our author, who is Tishani Doshi, she was actually heading towards the coldest, the driest, and the windiest continent of the world, which is Antarctica. Okay, now it is obvious that she is addressing Antarctica as the end of the world. Okay, now her journey, as she documents over here in this particular lesson, her journey began from Madras, crossing 9 time zones. All the details that you asked for, folks, it's right on your table. 9 time zones, 6 checkpoints, 3 bodies of water, and many ecospheres later. So much that she went through. It must have been a wonderful, wonderful journey, isn't it? Now, she was traveling for 100 hours altogether on different transportations for sure. Car, an aeroplane, a ship. Academic Shokalsky, as we know it. So these are the 100 hours that she traveled on car, aeroplane, and a ship. Okay, that's also done. Crossing what and all, we listed that as well. Now, the first emotion as she landed there, the first emotion that she had was like relief, of course, but also this bafflement, this complete wonder at the fact that whatever that she was looking at, she had complete wonder about all those things. Okay, so expansive white landscape, wherever her eyes could stretch, till there, all that she could see was white snow or white complete landscape, right? It was uninterrupted blue horizon, was a relief to look at and as well as a wonder to look at. Then, now she also thought about how this chapter, I would tell you, has a lot of science or the scientific stuff in it, and the details would help you understand what is there and what is the author talking about and everything. However, I would not push you, since it's a supplementary reader, I would not push you too much to go beyond and understand everything, every other concept as such. Okay, she thinks about how there might have been there was a time where Antarctica and India were a piece of the same land mass. Okay, she goes on to elaborate on it later. So it is a matter of wonder how this Antarctica and India at some point in time were a part of the same land mass. Okay, were same land mass. Let's understand about that in detail, shall we? Now, over some 600, and this is Antarctica, as you can all see. Okay, over 650 million years ago, a giant amalgamation of all the land masses. Okay, there was something called as a southern supercontinent over here, which is Gondwana. And the author says Gondwana really existed, okay, because it was centered roughly around where our current Antarctica is right now. The Gondwana or the supercontinent, which was the massive amalgamation or coming together of all of these land masses, were one whole thing. Okay. Later, it actually got separated. It broke. Now, before that, centered roughly around the present-day Antarctica was Gondwana, which is the supercontinent earlier. Now, that time period, there were no humans. Humans had not entered the global scene yet. But the climate was much more warmer and huge variety of, hence the climate was much more warmer compared to today's. There were wide variety of flora and fauna. Okay, all the animals and plants, wide variety of them. Then, for over 500 million years, okay, Gondwana thrived, it flourished, it was there as one whole supercontinent. Then later on, the dinosaurs, after all, after the asteroid impact and everything, the dinosaurs were wiped out. I am coming to realize that studying science is coming a lot of handy right now. So dinosaurs were wiped out by the asteroid impact and everything, and the age of the mammals was underway. All the mammals had entered into the scene. But we get to know two things over here. 650 million years ago, there was something called as a supercontinent named Gondwana. All the land masses were one whole thing, amalgamated into one thing. Later on, they got separated. Okay. Then, moving forward, land masses were forced to separate into different countries, shaping how the globe looks right now. There is India and everything, there's Antarctica, Asia, all of these things got separated. Okay. Then, now, why do you have to study about it? Why do you have to understand all these things out of the blue in English? You're studying about it. Studying about these things, the grasp of where we have come from will help us understand or plan better for where we could be possibly heading towards. That's the idea behind it. Then, understand the significance of Cordilleran folds and Precambrian granite shields. So, here we have been looking at a lot of scientific terms. Cordilleran folds are nothing but the huge mountains, and Precambrian granite shields are, land masses, huge land masses, but with little lower elevations. Okay. And ozone, obviously you have heard of ozone layer, carbon, evolution and extinction. All of this, studying about all of these in general, mountains, the biological features, geographical and geological features, studying about all these things, if you were to put it all under the umbrella concept, it will help you understand where you have come from, will help you understand where you are heading, what are the possible future consequences that all of us have to face. Moving forward, it could be India pushing towards the northwards, Asia being formed, and then formation of Himalayas. So much has happened over so many million years. Okay. Then South America joining North America, and then formation of the Drake Passage, which is the cold circumpolar current known as that. And then Antarctica at the bottom of the world, as we saw it in the previous picture as well. So all of these and so much, many more has happened. It is important that we study about it, or at least get to know that, so this was the case then. Wondering about it is of no loss either, right? So for an individual like her who belongs to obviously India, a sun-worshipping country, we get to see light, we get to see sun every day. There are continents and countries that don't get to see sun at all. Okay. So for a sun-worshipping person who belongs to that country, South Indian, 2 weeks straight in the place where 90% of the total Earth's ice comes from, that's a huge thing for her, not just in the circulatory and metabolic functions, but also for the imagination. It's not just her metabolic functions and circulatory or the respiratory functions and everything will get damaged. Besides that also, in order you to imagine that for a person belonging to a sun-worshipping country, being in a place where 90% of the world's Earth's total ice is there, that's like a huge thing, right? Then there are no human markers. What are human markers? No trees, billboards, buildings, all of those you won't get to see over there. And the visual scale, your visual scale is completely from microscopic things to macroscopic things you'll get to see. What are some of the macroscopic things? Icebergs as huge as a country, and one of the hugest or the largest that was recorded was in the size of Belgium, that country. And 24-hour austral summer light. For humans, the prognosis isn't good. When you study all of these things, okay, was how it was and how it would be, the prognosis or the forecast of what is going to happen, it doesn't really seem that good. Okay, the future for humans is not that good. Then what else do we get to know about in this chapter? Human civilization might have come somewhere around 12,000 years ago. Although it is such a short period of time that humans have started to exist on this planet, we have managed to create quite a ruckus, quite a havoc, isn't it? So it is on the geological clock. If you consider it, it's just a couple of seconds only, 12,000 years on the geological clock. Okay. Yet we have tried to create our dominance over nature. We have tried to gain control over all the things, fighting with all the other species, creating, lack of resources in the environment, creating villages, towns, cities, mega cities, and everything. What not have we not done? Then the rapid increase of human population has made us to battle with other species in order to secure all these resources for ourselves. And not just that, burning of the fossil fuels and creating a blanket of carbon dioxide on all the hazardous chemicals. Not just that, right? So increase in the average global temperature. What have we not done? Then the West Antarctic ice sheet, to think about it, if you can just, if you're sitting in the comfort latitude or in a comfort place, thinking about is the West Antarctic ice sheet really melting, or the Gulf Stream ocean current, is it really disrupted? All these things, we hear a lot of articles, we hear a lot of debates and discussions as to all the ice, icebergs and glaciers, everything is melting and they are flowing into streams. All of these we hear sitting in our comfort zones. Okay, but this could be, when you think of it, it could be, there could be possible end of the world, there could be not. Okay, but in all these discussions, what is that one crucial point that everybody will talk about? It's Antarctica for sure. Okay, now maybe because it never sustained a human population, it never had a human population and remained pristine, unharmed by people. If only human population would have been there, it would have been all destroyed. However, by human activities that are happening right, in this side of the world, is also affecting the other part of the world, right? Then ice cores, all these. Now, it's not just that Antarctica becomes a crucial matter of, topic or the debate in this particular case. It's also because it in its core holds 500,000-year-old carbon records. What are carbon records? So whenever you want to study about the fossils and everything, it's through the carbon dating. You find out based on the carbon remnants and everything in the body, in the skeleton, you find out how old it is and what era it could have belonged to and everything, right? So now over here in its ice cores, it is also a matter of greater significance, Antarctica. Why? Because in its core, it has 500,000-year-old carbon records hidden in it, trapped in its core, right? So Earth's past, present and future, everything is hidden in the deep place where Antarctica is the place to go if you have to study about it. Then that is why she calls it as the journey to the end of the Earth. Now, the program in which you can see over here as to how in the month of February 4th, there is the amount of ice and glaciers that you see over there. When you see it, compare it with the next picture, it is so less and it has melted down into ponds. Okay, and the program in which our author over here has gone to Antarctica, the name of the program is Shokalski. It is the program that is called as Students on Ice. Okay, and program on Shokalski, which is the Russian vessel in which they have gone. It has been 6 years that the program has started. Now, what else do we know about it? What's the aim of this particular program? The aim is that the high school students will be taken to the end of the world, which is Antarctica, and they'll get to know about the educational opportunities. Literally, practically, they'll get to know about what is happening, thereby also creating a lot of educational, insightful opportunities. Okay, so this is headed by a Canadian, Geoff Green, and he was tired after coaching and training a lot of celebrities and everything who do not give back greater deal to the society, and hence he thought that this is something that I would want to do, educating the future generation of policymakers through a life-changing experience. They are in an age where they can absorb a lot, and not just absorb, learn from it and act as well. Okay, this is an age where adolescents or teenagers feel that they have the power to change the world, and they do. And that is the reason he has picked them up. Then the program is a very successful one, and near the South Pole, and it cannot be affected. So visibly, you see the glaciers retreating and the ice shelves collapsing. So we were talking as to how, sitting in your comfort zone, it's easy to talk about, debate about and everything. You might wonder whether the, world will end, whether it will not end. But when you go see their live and get to know about it, the glaciers all melting and the ice shelves collapsing and everything, the threat of global warming becomes so much real. You get to see it in person and you not just realize, the reality hits you hard. Okay. Then moving forward, what else do we have in this lesson? Antarctica has a very simple ecosystem and a lack of biodiversity, and it is perfect for the microscopic phytoplankton. So why is this perfect? If you have to study what the simple changes, how little changes in the environment can have major repercussions or major consequences, this is a perfect place to study about it. So Antarctica has simple ecosystem and lacks greater deal of biodiversity. Now, let's take an example. An example of the microscopic phytoplanktons. Okay, these phytoplanktons nourish and sustain the entire Southern Ocean's food chain. So imagine an ocean's food chain, and in the ocean food chain starts with these microscopic phytoplanktons. Then these single-celled plants use sun's energy, photosynthesis, they prepare food and everything. And but when you look at it in the context of Antarctica, over there, the Southern Ocean, the main source of the Southern Ocean's food chain, the scientists warn that further depletion in ozone layer will affect these microscopic phytoplanktons. If the source is only affected, forget about all the biodiversity, forget about all that exists depending upon that, right? So this is an example that shows us how we need to take care of small things in life, and the bigger things will fall into place eventually. So scientists have warned further depletion of ozone layer will affect these, will in turn affect marine animals, birds and global carbon cycle. Everything is interlinked and it is a great metaphor for our existence. What is the metaphor? Take care of the small things and the big things will eventually fall into place. Okay. Then at the end, our narrator or author, as you can put her, the one that has recorded this beautiful document for us, she tells us she shares with us an amazing experience that she has. My best Antarctic experience in Shokalski, managed between the, somehow the Shokalski, the ship or the vessel, Russian vessel, managed between the peninsula and the Tadpole Island. However, they could not go further. Okay, so preventing, the captain decided that we have to turn around and go back, head back north. But before that, they had a lifetime experience. I mean, journey to the end of the earth was not enough for them. They also had this experience, which is they were asked to climb down and walk on the ocean. Some 52 of them climbed down and walked on the frozen ocean. Okay. So underneath our feet, a meter thick ice pack, there was the realization or the revelation of understanding there is a meter thick ice under my feet. And not just that, underneath that 180 meters of living, breathing salt water is also there. There is meter thick ice. The ice has hardened. You have kept your feet on top of that. Under that, 180 meters of living, breathing salt water is also there. That's like an experience no money, nothing can buy, right? So she also shares that with us. And then there was crab eater seals that was also seen stretching and sunning like stray dogs under the banyan tree. And after that, everything does indeed connect, she says. How is it that? The beauty of balance that is there in our planet. One thing is interdependent with another thing. And if one thing gets damaged, the other thing is obviously affected. So Antarctica becomes, what if it becomes a warm place that it once used to be? What will happen if that is the case? Just think about a couple of stuff. Will we be around to see it? By the time Antarctica becomes the warm place that it was before, will we be alive to look at something like that or experience something like that? Or will we be long gone? So a lot can happen in a million years, but what difference can a day make, one may ask? We don't know what difference a day can make. A million, yes, for sure we know what are the differences it can make, but a day, we don't know. However, our day has had a major difference by understanding this particular chapter, Journey to the End of the World, I hope. It was about an account of the author being a part of this Russian program, which is the students on ice. And she tells us how Antarctica is the place one needs to go to if he or she were to understand about what Earth has been, and how once there was a huge landmass supercontinent named as Gondwana, and how it got separated, and what are the flora and fauna that existed before, how the changes that have happened, be it India getting pushed and becoming a part of Asia, or Himalayas being formed, or there are the mountain ranges, everything, all the biological, geological things, geographical things that we study, what greater significance can it hold? Understanding about it will help us to have our future days, better future days. That's what it is about, isn't it? And then she also helps us to puts a couple of interesting questions and makes us wonder what would happen if, our Antarctica becomes the warmer place that it was, and tells us about how simple changes in the environment, like all the havoc that we have created, we humans have created, it can have greater impact on the little things in nature, in the world, which can have greater deal of damage later in life. And she also shares with us the beautiful experience that she has at the end, where she got down on a frozen lake or ocean, where she saw there was 1 meters thick ice on which 52 of them were standing, and underneath that there was 180 meters of living, breathing salt water that was there. Every account in this lesson is of greater significance. I know it's a very scientific account and document. However, I hope and pray that you have enjoyed understanding it, learning about it. If you have any doubts, get back to me in the upcoming sessions. We'll talk about it. And don't forget to read this lesson because it is very important. On that note, I'll see you all in the next class. Thank you.